Now, as we get to cultural association, I'm just looking for it. Here we go. Coming up on it. Now, also these are the bookmarkers and stuff that when people buy them, they get these bookmarkers and everything like that. Just keep it real simple, real beautiful for people. Now, what is that? This spelling. Because I'm all the way back here. I'm supposed to be in this spelling. I'm supposed to be in this spelling. I'm all the way in the back of the book. Here we go. Here, up here. I'm looking forward to show people. Now, here we go. Bang. So, what I purposely did did research. I found newspaper articles from the 1900s, from the 1800s, from the 1600s, and showing you scholars, ethnologists, archaeologists talking about their discoveries on the bones, the bodies, you name it. And even here, see this article here? It says the so-called Negro in Central America before Christopher Columbus. And when you read this article in particular, you be like this. Nope. Hold on. Hold on. This article.
He highlighted certain parts that.
This article, and you can see where I got all the reference material from.
You can look up.
These are renowned historians and ethnologists who've done research throughout the years. And the first thing he talks about is how Negroes were the first inhabitants of Mexico. They used the term Negro interchangeably with Ethiopia, you know, and when the Portuguese came, they used that terminology, except for it's like, no, we wasn't calling ourselves that.
And you tell them what the word means, Ethiopia? And
I forgot what Ethiopia
oh, okay.
It means, not what it means. But I have all reference and articles so people can see and listen. Look into this. There go another article here. Silver City, North Carolina, 1912. Look at what they said. It says Kansas City disenfranchised the Negro and sent him back to Africa. Absurd, impossible. More than $1 billion of United States real estate, which he owns in his own name in the United States, is not easily be taken from him. Besides, the Negro is not an African. He is an American. African is a misnomer.
Oh, I just want to stop it right there. I just want to stop it right there. Right. You wanna go further? You wanna stop?
No,
you wanna stop? I think. Okay. Okay.
I give the reference.
Okay.
This is the article in the background. This is the actual article, and because I was like, I want to just make it beautiful, I actually just made it like the way I did. But this is the actual reference that people can find, and what I do for like people that subscribe to like my website or whatever like that, we make those type of instruments available for them because these are all congressional records. These ain't like me going to find them in the book and I'm like,
conspiracy theory.
No,
exactly.
No, congressional records.
Backed up.
Okay.
Facts. And the goal, like, if I was to ever speak, the goal would be to tell people, now, can you prove that you're black? And I ask people this question all the time.
After they read the book.
And just videotape, do a series.
After they read the book, we want to challenge people to say, prove to us that you're Negro, black, or colored, or any of those titles you've been given.
And even in here, I'm looking for. I gotta find it. I forget what page it's on, but we'll get to it more than likely. Even in here, I can prove where they show. It's the 1740 Negro Act, and it stipulates specifically of South Carolina. It stipulates specifically the status of Negro, the status of colored, the status of black, and what it legally means. And it's a subject status. And then they make another distinction between what you call Moors, Native Americans, I forget what the other term was, but they make these distinctions between the people who are the same people. You're like, wait a minute, I'm kind of confused. And what happens is those of us who were placed in the bondage, who was enslaved, lost identity and was reclassified as black. And the Dred Scott decision was all about that. And if you couldn't prove where your lineage come from, then guess what? You're going to have to accept this classification status. And so when we talk about reparations as a people, we always talk about the money, but never the correction of the status. And so our whole argument don't even make sense because you cannot get reparations if you're not a nation of people. It's not going to happen. You have to be a nation, nationally recognized. And that's not the issue.
And you cannot get nationalized being black. So what do you think, just to give from what you've seen so far, what do you,
I think
how do you feel?
What's very amazing is the fact that this particular project we're working on, it picked that freeze. And it really sort of, the answer to what that was about is in this book.
Amazing that we found each other.
Yeah. And I think that the opportunity that we have here is to allow truth to be able to reveal this information to the committee and to the community.
Right.
You know, and we can do that creatively in so many different ways. You know, and I think what we're going to do through the dialogue that we're going to have with different people is going to give each one of them the opportunity to become enlightened. You know, to get their eyes open to what the history that was misrepresented, misinterpreted, erased, you know, alleviated. That history now can start coming to the forefront. And then what we have to do as a community, you know, as a people, is to make sure our kids get that information.
That's right.
On a consistent basis. And
that's
so
right.
We're here as a digital, you know, arts organization to make sure that that gets documented. Okay. You know, to make sure that, you know, people like yourself and the information that comes through this gets documented so that it's like, I know where to go now.
Right, right.
And that building, that place that represented certain things now represents, you know, more equitable and equal messages.
Right.
To the people.
So for the recording, could you give us your information so when we post this, they can know how to contact you at this building? Do you want to
Sure. This is the Idea Center for the Arts, and we just moved here, and our excitement is around the fact that we can offer this building, this place, as a place of creativity, a place where artists can become nurtured, a place where our children can tap into their creative spirit. And so we're here because we want to use the arts as a mechanism for healing and change for our community. So we hope that you can support us, you can take classes here, you can study here, you can create here, you can compose here. All of those things that an artist can do, we have your back. And we're here to nurture that within you and within our kids.
Wow.
So we hope to see you.
All right.
Yeah, it's just something that I just keep thinking about. And I've been pondering it for a while because, you know, there's as much as there's this history that you know we call truth. We call truth. And you know, it's funny how truth is becoming such a subjective thing. But what's interesting is, you know, as much as we want to share this information with people, there's still a part of the public that is resisting it very much. And you mentioned the word weaponize. And my thing is this, I'd like to change the consciousness of how people feel about getting information. It's not so, and not to use it as weaponry, but to use it as liberation.
Right.
You know what I mean? And if I just kind of think to myself, there's this fear of understanding, you know, the real history. There's this fear, and there doesn't need to be.
Right.
Because just imagine if